Yeah,
And
it's been a while.
I know, and I was like, oh my gosh, 2019, that's insane. So, well, welcome back. How you been?
I'm doing good. Just started snowing here where I am,
Nice,
so
nice. What state do you live in?
Jersey.
Jersey. Nice. Yeah, we've managed to dodge it. I'm over in South Carolina, and it's been freezing like the last several days. It's like gonna drop down to like I think almost single digits in a couple days, and it was been like in the 12s and 13s and teens recently, but no snow. So it is what
I'm
it is.
I'm still on Celsius, so
Yeah.
yeah. Right now it's like negative, below zero.
Hey.
Yeah, I never got used to Fahrenheit because
I
I
mean,
didn't
Celsius
work
makes a lot more sense. Celsius
Yeah.
makes a lot more sense. 0, 100 boiling rate. It's so much more simpler than Fahrenheit. But that's we don't do things conveniently here. Okay, well, you seem to have aberrated from our original Lucio coaching, and you are now a menace on the flank Moira, at least according to your form.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to find out what can I be doing to be more of a menace? Hopefully, to more to the enemy team than my team. Okay, sounds good. So, well, let me get your form pulled up here. So, okay, how you liking Overwatch 2?
I kind of like it better. Mainly, I think also because of the roll lock. I know a lot of people don't like it, but it's just nice to have the security of knowing that you're not gonna have like 5 support players in one team.
Right. No, I agree. I think roll lock is. I think we talk about 5v5 and 6v6, and there's a lot of debate with that. But I do think like when it comes to roll lock, I just don't think anybody that has an argument against roll lock is a little off. Honestly, I think I remember the majority of games being screwed up by it or lack of it. So yeah, I agree. I guess Moira hasn't had too many changes since Overwatch 2. I guess the damage orb resource change was a minor one, fade during Cole. How you liking Moira?
I like it a lot. Right now, I got to GM1 playing Moira just regularly. Kind of like not too much flanking, just like maybe soft off angling, mostly like trying to be with my team more.
Yep. Makes sense. And so you are trying to lean more into the DPS flank Moira style. Why is that? Just for the memes? It's fun. You've enjoyed that playstyle more. You've hit your head in a rock, or like what's the deal?
I like getting value. Like there's more than one way to play support, right?
Of course.
So that's more fun to me. If I just want to win, like I'll play all the classic heroes for sure.
Sure.
But then like if I want to like be more creative, like I feel like that's where I get to quote unquote express myself.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. There's something to be said for like, hey, I'm doing something that is different from other people and doing it well. It gives you a sense of almost like individuality, and I think that's what makes Overwatch 2 awesome, is that there's so many heroes that provide those opportunities. And then not only the heroes themselves, but then, like you said, the different ways that you can play the heroes also provides individuality within individuality. So now, have you been inspired by anybody? Have you watched any Nolan?
Honestly, not really.
Okay.
I didn't get to watch Nolan. Were they like live on Twitch a lot?
I don't think he streams as much as he maybe used to, but he is the GOAT. So if you can find anything on him, he's amazing. But yeah, I think that there's I'm trying to think who else. I mean, there's obviously like ARX and Tesla, but I don't think they're that good. At least I don't know that they're GM1 plus top 500 level, right? But yeah, for sure. Also a little biased because I think Nolan's a friend of mine. So yeah, okay, sounds good. Want to get the most out of the flanking Moira play style. Now, you've moved. You still have Ana and Lucio on your hero pool. Is that just, when Moira is not viable, or when Moira is already picked, or when I'm just feeling something else? When do those characters come up?
I think those are just my top 3 played by the time I filled up the form.
Sure.
If they have the classic, like Hog or Maga, for example. I'll play
Mm.
Ana.
Interesting. Okay.
Lucio for like, if you
Sure.
have like Ram, Queen, Ryan.
Sure. So
But
what
yeah.
percentage is that usually? Like 5%, 10% each, or not even that usually?
I try to play more and more, honestly,
Yeah.
these days.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. And then Overwatch playtime at least 3 hours a day. Is that, I assume, all ranked? And I assume you probably don't need to warm up either.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I try to work. Sometimes like I just warm up anyway. Like I go into deathmatch and like play Ana,
Yep. Yeah. I
stuff
mean,
like
it's
that.
probably good to at least wake your brain up. Okay.
Hmm.
One of the things I guess I recommend, and while we're looking for things that are going to have good long term impact for you, I think taking short breaks between games. You might have heard me talk about that before, but I would
Hmm.
recommend that. Even if it's just between every couple of games, just taking like a 1 or 2 minute break while you're in queue. Now, what are GM1 support queues like right now?
They're mostly like around maybe like 10-ish minutes, 8
Sure,
plus.
sure. Sure. So you have time, right? You have
Hmm.
time, and you're either on YouTube, you're either in deathmatch, or something along those lines. Even if you're using it super efficiently,
Yeah.
I think the best thing you could be doing when you have those longer queues, at least using the first 2 minutes of that queue to get up, move around, get away from your computer, and grabbing some water, or going out, checking the mail,
Yeah.
moving around, or whatever. Just to kind of, because like, you know how it is. It's like you're really trying to squeeze every little bit of value that you can out of what you're doing. And I
Hmm.
think one of the things that you need to make sure that you're doing is that you're going full effort, full focus, full energy every game. That's how you can help do that a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would be
Yeah.
my recommendation.
Right. I do have a bad habit. I vape. So every
Yeah.
couple of games, I go downstairs and do that, walk around, grab a drink of water.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
So bad for your health, but good for your gameplay, kind of a thing.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Goals: providing more impact while being extremely annoying to the enemy team makes sense. What do you feel is holding back from improving? Engage timing with team. Okay, so you're aware of that being an issue, and that's the only issue that you have in your form. So have you taken strides or measures to improve that? And if so, what have you tried?
I just like look back at my
Mhm.
team, like every now and again,
Sure,
just to like
sure,
check up on what they're doing.
sure. But
Um,
it's still, is it something that you're still working at, you're still progressing at, and you just need more practice?
yeah, I feel like I could always be better at it.
Okay. Makes sense. Well, we'll keep an eye on it, and obviously, like, habits aren't built in a day. But if it's
Hmm.
something that you continue to need to improve, then we'll continue to apply yourself. Okay, 7 hours of sleep per night on average. I think that kind of falls into the same category of something that if we want to squeeze every bit of value out of your play, then improving that by even a little bit might be useful.
Hmm.
So 7.5 hours, whatever. Again, it kind of goes back to like, I do think health has a small reflection in gameplay. And I actually think sleep is the most important representation of health when it comes to gameplay. I think you
Okay.
can get away with not, I want people to exercise. I want people to eat well. And I do think that helps reflect in your gameplay.
Hmm.
But I think sleep reflects in your gameplay 10 times more than those other things. Just because it's the amount of energy and focus that you have directly, and your ability to learn, and your ability to regulate your emotions, and your ability to full focus, and even your reaction speed, right? So I
Hmm.
would recommend that. It's not, your sleep isn't bad, but it could be a little bit better. And again, while we're trying to find things like the little bit of breaks and the slightly more sleep, and so on, these are going to be the things that you would probably benefit from, at least a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I also work from home, and
Perfect.
I take naps. Like I
Okay.
take one nap during the day, so that's why my nighttime is
Sure.
usually less.
Sure. And so that's fine. How long is that nap? Usually.
An hour, two
Yeah.
hours at most.
Okay. Okay. So that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. That might be actually something to research, actually, because I'm actually not too sure if the total amount of sleep time is the same.
Hmm.
And as long as you're not like tossing and turning during the night, Okay. I don't know. Do you have any other questions? I'm through with your form.
Yeah, I'm good for now.
Okay. Let's look at some gameplay here. You're gonna shoot me a code.
Hmm.
So they're having a patch today, is the word on the street.
Oh,
But I
really?
think we should be good enough to get through it. I think we're early enough. Usually the patches happen in like an hour, 2 hours from now.
Hmm.
So we should be okay. I had a
There's
message
enough
from
time.
my. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. There's enough time to.
Yeah, should be. I messaged some of my later sessions is like, hey, send me the code, or record it or something. Because I've had times before where it's like, all right, you ready to go? Okay, the code's wiped. Wow, we're totally wasting our time here, which is super unfortunate. Okay, so flank Moira. I mean, I really don't have to describe to you where the value comes from. I don't think it's distraction, it's self-sustain, it's constant harassment. It is the option to sustain people. I think that's maybe one thing I will draw attention to is it's while you don't pursue it as much as like, let's say a Mercy or a Kiriko or a Lucio, you do benefit from +1ing somebody on that off angle. So if like, let's say you're on an off angle and you're with like a Sombra, a Tracer, or a Genji, that is going to get you a little bit of extra value. Because you look at the one problem with a flank Moira style is there is a subsection of your kit that you're just not going to utilize very much, which is your spray, right?
Yeah.
So that is a disadvantage to the flank Moira playstyle. And if you find somebody that does take angles with you, then you are really min-maxing the character because you heal, you burst heal, you orb, you fade, you damage everything, right? So that is, I guess, one thing to be on the lookout for. I look at your composition here, and I don't really see it. But if that Torbjorn decides to, drink the Kool-Aid along with you, then help the guy out, right? Like you guys could be an absolute terror on the back line, right? If you're working, like we said, to Tracer or a flanker or something along those lines. So. Okay, let's take a look. Any questions about Moira, flank Moira, and so on before we just look at gameplay?
Not right now, but one thing I'd like to note is usually I'm more proactive with taking off angles, like sometimes or a lot of the time.
Sure.
Okay, so this match is like at a lower rank because I'm trying out the playstyle.
Sure. What is this like? What rank exactly?
Oh, this is like Masters, High Masters.
High Masters, okay.
And then sometimes if I don't see like DPS take off angles, I'll just do it myself.
Okay, so no other questions then?
Oh yeah, no.
Okay,
no
let's take a look then. So the first thing to note with Moira, with a flank Moira, is that you need to play to your effective range.
Yeah.
So your range here, your range, right? Your right click max distance is your effective range, essentially. You don't generally want to get a lot closer. You don't really be any further. So you can, the flanks that you take need to mirror that effective range.
Okay.
So you're kind of already trolling, right? Now I understand your hesitancy to be like, oh, I don't just want to roll out here and just drop in and just run into a freaking DPS immediately and go. So you're kind of taking the long way around. But really the only reason to take the long way around here is so that you could take the back door to here. And then you have access to squishies here, or if you go even faster, you go to here. But the problem is you've been way too slow to do that. And really at this point in time, which angle should you take instead?
With
what little that you know, right? Because you don't know everything positioning-wise.
I mean, I was thinking like right now, maybe near to the bot, like on low ground.
Yes. So I would say even in this vicinity here or around the bus, and then maybe even fading if you get the opportunity to get this here.
Okay.
This is too far. So you're going all the way up to this. This is not too bad right now because you're lucky enough that they're not running any hit scan, right? But if they ran literally anything here, they could even run like, I don't know, a Torb, right? And that guy would make your life miserable in here. Because do you see how far away you are from the action? It can't work. Now, it ends up being a little lucky that they're not in hit scan, but you're also a little bit unlucky in the fact that they all roll at high ground, and then you look at this in here and you're like, okay, what am I doing? Right? I am so late to this fight, and I'm so far, right? So you even throw a heal orb there just to try and keep your team to sustain, which I actually don't even dislike. I think it's okay. But the problem is, and the problem is even here, right? So then this Kiriko turns on you, and yeah, you're right clicking her a little bit, but this is kind of a scary position for you. It's not a lot of cover. You're playing at a little bit of a range where she can dink you a little bit, and there's really nowhere to like continue to pressure. Like if they headshot you, you kind of just have to fade out, and that's it, right? Like there's not really a whole lot you can sustain from. So I think your play here, and I'm going to give you the answer here, and then I want you to try and I'm going to ask this question again as the review goes on, and I want you to practice answering it for me. I think that your best solution here would have been to rotate through here. Go, they're all here. Go up to here, and maybe not even throw a damage orb yet, right? So, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. So maybe not even throw a damage orb yet. And from here, it's where I wanted you to be. From here, You sneak up here, you throw a damage orb here, and you play right-click simulator here.
Okay.
Because you got a damage orb, you got a right-click, you got cover. First off, you can start threatening stealing the bot. But then also, with your right-click and damage orb, you're going to have an advantage here, and then you could start to play patty cake here. You could start to throw an orb on a bounce an orb in here. You could fade jump up in here if you hear Sleep Dart and Nade, right? Then go kill her. You can also even just right-click any flanker DPS, like right here. Genji dashes out to escape your team, you right-click him, you chase him. You see Tracer blink this way, you go chase her and you go kill her. Kiriko uses Suzu, you engage. Basically, you're looking for cover and you're looking for an effective range. And right now, you have neither of those.
Okay. Right. So that very first fade that I did, like before the fight started, I actually missed that. I wanted to fade on the that catwalk. But then I should have taken the, like I should have just went to bot.
Exactly. The thing is even if you made it to the catwalk, right, you still would have needed to drop.
Okay, that's fair.
Because this is too open. Right? Exactly. Okay. So the thing that makes Moira unique to other flankers, not super unique because a lot of flankers are similar, but especially with Moira, you don't have burst.
Okay, yeah.
What you do have is you have sustain. So what that means is whereas a Tracer, a Genji, a Sombra especially, right? There's a burst of value, a burst of threat, then a little bit of downtime, then a burst, and then a little bit of downtime. Moira is the opposite. Moira is flatline. Moira, you have spikes of pressure around your orb, of course, but you pretty much are just playing to be an ass for as long as you possibly can. Just a leech. Like it's like somebody skimming money off of a bank, right? And you're not like stealing, you're not robbing the bank for $5 million. You're stealing $100 every day. And that's what Moira is as a flanker, is that you're just consistent because you have so much sustain, because you're so nasty with it, right? You can just harass and harass and harass and harass and harass and distract and harass and harass. And that's why things like cover are so important. Like I can live with the Sombra not playing near cover. I'd like her to play cover because she's mostly just hit the virus, hit the shots, she gets out, right? Not you. Not you. You have to be a constant source of pressure. And if you're not, you're going to lose. See, this is so risky, right? This is so risky. Like there's so much risk involved with what you're doing that it comes down to like, oh wow, you should have died there. I never want to have to say that for you as a Moira player. Okay. Only when you see a huge opportunity and it feels deserved. That did not feel deserved.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's really like the main difference between Moira and flankers. Like even Kiriko, right? Like Kiriko can be very easy to force out, but man, oh man, you could just hit 2 headshots and they just die, right? You don't have that option as Moira.
Wrong orb, I think.
What is it?
Oh, I threw the wrong orb there.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. Okay. Surprised I didn't damage orb here.
Okay.
So what basically the which orb to use? This is a little bit. I'm gonna treat you a little bit more like you know what you're talking about, right? Than I would like a plat Moira, because you do.
Okay.
You need to judge your positioning and then choose the orb. So right now, how would you rate your positioning in terms of safety?
Positioning is fine.
Agreed. That's all you need to know, right?
Yeah.
It's fine. You have cover. You have a health pack. You're not committed to the middle of the enemy team. So then which orb should you use?
Damage orb right
Damage
now.
orb. Exactly. Now, if you faded into the open here, obviously let's pretend it's not an on. Let's just pretend it's anything. That's where you might hesitate a little bit, or at least there's a little bit of a decision to be made, right? For do I want to go for the sustain? Do I want to play the safe play or whatever? This here, you should be damage orbing immediately. There's actually no reason for you not to be damage orbing. You're giving this on way too much respect. You see this heal orb right here? Completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. I know you used fade aggressively, but you ended in a perfect position. Health pack, cover, right? So you don't need your heal orb. You don't need to save it.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think that's what I'm like on the flank. Like that's what I'm mostly saving it for.
Right.
Okay, just don't watch this next part, but we'll get through it.
Yeah. See, can I be honest? This is stupid. Like, this is really stupid. Like, this is kind of goes back to what you're talking about, like timing your engages, right? Where it's like, I think you're using this to kind of reposition on the angle, but really, to be honest with you, nothing's stopping the enemy team from killing you right now. Like, now. Right? Like, you are so far ahead of them. I think your Ram and Mercy try to push that, but I don't know why they don't pursue. And this is where, like, oh, well, you have my heal orb. I'm okay. It doesn't matter if you have a heal orb here. If they want you dead, you're dead. So I think here, this is where you need to incorporate a little bit less. I want you to be more finesse, less direct. Okay. So you want an angle here. Okay, I get it. I think this is a great angle for you. It's good range, good cover, health packs, fade, but you can't get here like this. And you certainly can't get here by yourself. So how do you get here?
With my ram first.
Sure. So you're gonna take an angle or a flank late. So you're gonna play with your team. Wait. Now you fade through the enemy team at the backline, heal orb, and then dare them to come chase me. Come on. Your Winston's already committed. What are you gonna do? Just leave him alone and come chase after me, right? That's awkward for them. They have to make that decision. And if they ignore you, well, guess what? You're on the backline with a right click. That's difficult, right? Now there's another way to do the exact same play. You ready for this? And this is where a little bit of creativity.
Oh, okay.
You could fade in through here because they don't even see you, right? They don't see the stairs. So then you hide here and you listen 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 and you listen. You hear the jump and then you go. And what's better about this is you have the element of surprise. You have your fade and you're in a perfect position. Make sense? So you're literally flanking, right? You're playing like a flanker. Go ahead.
Yeah, and they don't know that I don't have fade because I didn't fade in front of them.
Exactly. And crucially, because you faded early to set up, like you put in the time, right? You invested your time. You would actually have your fade when you needed it.
Okay.
Right? You would have it right about now, actually. So let's see what you do from here, though.
All right. Okay.
I mean, yeah. See, awesome. This is the problem. You needed to use your goal. You needed to heal over here.
Hard reset.
Yeah. Tactical reset. Yep, that was it. That was brilliant. Because what they do is they go, this Moira's an idiot. You know, we don't need to give her any respect, and that's when you get him, right? See, that was brilliant. That's high level tactics right there. Always feed at least once in your games. Exactly. When you lose the battle, but win the war.
And then I type GG team throwing like in the match chat.
Yes. Because then they think you're really brain dead, and then you do something super smart. So
there you go.
It's brilliant. This is just BM. But see, here's what I'll say though. Like this is just, it's funny. But really, again, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about last fight, where it's like, I want you to be thinking investment, right? So it's like, while you're playing funny mode with Mr. Monkey here, you know where this fight's going to break out. You know it's going to be about right here, right? So where would you want to take an angle that complements your range?
I think
there's a couple of options here, right?
Yeah, I should have been already by the Mega.
Yeah.
As our team was walking out. So when I get set up and they're ready to fight, like it's around the same time. But yeah,
like the same kind of thing, right? Like this angle is pretty good here. I actually think this angle here is really good.
Okay.
For where the fight's going to be, right? It's really hard to dislodge you here. There's a mini right behind you. You got good cover, and you got a really deep angle too. That's crucial. So you can make these supports turn all the way around, right? The best part about flank Moira as well is that, similarly to like playing like a mirror tracer, is what's going to happen is you're going to take this angle, and what's going to happen, right? You're going to run into Marceline.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's great. I mean, that's a huge benefit to your team because your team doesn't want to have to deal with the tracer on the flank, So what's going to happen is she's going to get forced out back to her team because, Moira, and then she's going to get pocketed by Anakiriko. And so you're going to be like, oh, I can't kill the Anakiriko because they're just pocketing the tracer. Guess what? If you can survive and contest and do what we call mark the tracer with support, your team's going to win the fight.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of like trying to do, but it's kind of a 50-50 because like either the tracer's on the Mega or like, left side. So like either way, like, do I just stay with the team more or until like
you choose one, and either you end up marking the tracer or you avoid the tracer and you kill the backline.
Okay.
It's a good move either way. I think like if you purposefully mark the tracer, you might listen. You might look for her and go like, I see her over here. I'm gonna take this angle instead, right? But I don't even think that Moira, you need to go out of your way to mark people. If it happens, it happens. Great, you're equipped for that. If not, okay, go kill backline. Right. That's totally fine. So for you here, it's not about like, you took the wrong angle. You just didn't take an angle at all. And so this is going to kind of inhibit your ability to actually get meaningful pressure. Like the whole point here is that like, oh, I'm right-clicking Genji, right? But a Cassidy can do that, right? A Cassidy can shoot the Genji. You know what a Cassidy can't do? A Cassidy can't sit back here and right-click the Genji when he's ducked behind cover.
Okay,
right? So there's nowhere for the Genji to stabilize. It's like, remember, it's the leech. It's every day they're losing $100. There's no end to the agony, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a explosion of pain. It's just a dull ache constantly. And whether that's from here, whether that's the leech on the tracer, whether, let's say, the tracer took the different angle and you actually were here, right? I mean, think about what you could do from here if the tracer wasn't here, right? A constant nuisance, right? Would you kill the Ana? Probably not. But oh my goodness, the Ana Kiriko would be so mad, and this Winston would probably die, or the Genji would probably die, right? So that again, that's what Moira does. And right now, it's like you're not. I appreciate you pressuring squishies here and all the little rollouts you're doing here, but it's ironic that you have to fade in to get an angle. That tells you about how you're investing your time.
Okay. Yeah.
You shouldn't have to fade in to get an angle most of the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so ultimately, like, you're kind of a non-factor this entire fight, and then you feed and die. Mm-hmm. Whereas you should have been a factor early and often and over and over and over and over again, and no end to it. No end to it. Good. See, this is investment. It's a little early and it's a little obvious. So I'm not a huge fan of it, but I appreciate it. So what I mean by that is it's like you are setting up an angle here, but you're doing so like, hey, look at me taking an angle here. Here we go. Here we go. Right? And nothing's really happening just yet. So I'm a little concerned they're going to chase you, but I at least appreciate that you're taking an angle here. Right? So it's like, and ultimately it does end up being reasonably timed because, Ram Torb here. I will say, one more question here.
Yeah.
What should you be doing here? You have the angle, right? You're a little out in the open, which is the one problem here. So I would be migrating towards cover if possible, or at least like playing this pillar here or this like little light post.
Okay.
But also, this is a tough question. Should you damage orb this or should you not?
I probably should have. I mean, first, like, I had full health, and the fight, there was like, how do you call that? Like, she had slow on her. She wouldn't have been able to escape. But
so why? No, I'm gonna be honest with you. There is an argument here for not using damage orb. Why?
Okay. Well, I have my fade, and she has anti.
True. Remember when we were here and we asked, should you use damage orb or not? And we're like, oh yeah, of course, use it. Why?
Because like I was positioned like well.
How well are you positioned here? I'm not saying this is all your fault, but how well are you positioned here?
I mean, it could be better.
It could be a lot better, right? I don't know where it would be. Like, to be fair, there's just not a lot of good angles here, right? So it's a little tough. But I think this is where I wouldn't want you to save heal orb, but I would understand if you did.
Okay.
Because this position feels bad. So even if you do fade here, there is a world where maybe they chase me and I would need my heal orb and so on. I think because, like you said, you have your fade, you probably should just damage orb here. Okay. So let's put it this way. If you don't have a good position, you need a cooldown, fade or heal orb, okay?
Yeah.
If you do have a good position, a good cover, good angle, health packs, whatever, I don't think you need a cooldown at all.
Okay.
That's a bit of a rule to follow. There will be obvious exceptions to that rule, right?
Yeah.
But it's something to at least to start with. So right here, you have a cooldown. You have a bad position, but you have a cooldown, so you should use your orb.
Okay.
Because I look at this and I'm like, it is actually offensive to me that she lives.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of part of the reason why cover is so important here. Because I never want a mechanical skill check on somebody. Because she goes for a sleep dart here. I mean, she could have slept you, right? You had no counterplay to that. You could have faded it. You probably should have faded it. But if you're playing cover or leaning towards cover, like at least leaning this direction, right? Then you can easily react to the sleep dart, right? So just something to keep in mind.
Right.
Because I would freaking hate to have to use my fade just in case she hits the sleep dart. Like, that just feels bad, you know? Nice. Get him. Get him. Good. Now, remember, I know this has kind of been a messy fight, but it goes back to one word: setup.
Yeah.
Invest. The fight's had a bit of a lull. You know where the fight's going to happen. It's going to happen right around here. Where should you go? This is tricky.
I thought I already. I think for this fight, I go up to the mini, or at least I try to. Well, right now I'm thinking that, but
Mm-hmm.
I forgot how this fight goes.
Okay.
So yeah.
What's the one problem about the mini right now with where the fight's going to be?
The rest of it. Let's see.
Is it going to be an angle with where the fight's going to be?
I mean, not a hard angle.
I honestly don't know. I really don't know. Like, I mean, it could be. I could also see their Winston walking through here. To me, it's like my one problem with the mini is I don't actually know if it's going to be an angle. So I'm honestly wondering here if the cart gets to here, if I'm already splitting off and creeping around behind here.
Okay.
And I'm listening, I'm looking. And then from here, I damage orb, harass the Tracer. She's going to run back to her team. I walk forward and I continue to deep push my angle from here. Kind of going from cover to cover to cover. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Because the alternative is look at where you're at right now. This isn't an angle at all, right? So, and it's also, it's really, really damning because look at what you can right click right now.
Yeah.
Look at who you can pressure right now. Like nothing, right? Like it's Winston, right? So it feels terrible.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. I just got a doorbell. I think I have a delivery.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll be right back.
Go for it. No problem. Greetings, viewers. I'm eating a pomegranate. Pomegranate is one of those fruits that I never really ate much as a kid, but my wife was like, "You should get a pomegranate. You should get a pomegranate." I'm like, okay, pomegranate. That's weird. It's like if raspberries met corn. The whole texture. Bright and crunchy and juicy. Juicy and crunchy is really something that I think that is unique to the corn kind of hit space. I've never really had anything like it before.
All right, we're back.
Very unusual. Welcome back. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a bit of a mess. This is what I would describe as it's not bad Moira play, right? Because you're like, oh, I'm pocketing my Torb. I'm healing my team. But this isn't flank Moira.
Yeah.
So it's not bad, but it's not good either. At least not with what you're going for. We won't talk about that orb.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. You're not by yourself, right? Like your ram is here, so it's all right.
Also, I think I meant to do a heal orb there, but then the Tracer chased me.
I think the damage orb is okay. You just need to end closer to cover.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that it was a little too easy for that Tracer to chase you. And it's just something that you need to be aware of. Like, Moira has this love-hate relationship with dive characters, right? Where it feels like they can never kill you until they can, right? Yeah. Because it's you can run away from any Hanzo or Cassidy, but they could just dink you, right? But a Tracer can't really kill you until you fade away. Then she's going to chase you and kill you. And there's not many characters that can do that. Dive characters can. So just be aware of that. You are immensely strong versus dive characters with your cooldowns. You're immensely weak to dive characters without your cooldowns.
Right.
This is what we talked about marking, right? She wanted that angle. She had pulse bomb, and you said no. And you didn't even play that mechanically well either. It took you 6 years to 180, right? That's something to work on as well, by the way.
Okay.
Remember, you're a leech. With your positioning here, how long do you think that you're going to be able to safely stay?
Not very long.
Not very long. So you got to think long term. I don't even mind the heal orb here, right? So what side of the archway should you fall? Don't think target. Think positioning first. Which side of the archway should you fall? Where should you fall?
Yeah, closer to the right side.
I think it's to the right side, right? More cover, more sustain. What you're not the key thing is I do not want you in the middle ever. Almost ever. Okay. Never in the middle. I want you in the outside. If you drop here and then tuck back this way, we're great. If you drop here and I don't give a rip, you fade in over to here and then play from here, great. Totally fine with me. I don't even give a rip. What are they going to do? Push you over here? You got a Mega and you got to cover it. They can't do it, right? So, and then think about it like from the leech perspective, because you have that very solid, careful angle on the outside, on the side, on the back side, northeast, southeast, whatever. You're around the periphery. You're going to live there and live and live and live and live. And that's what you need from a Moira flank.
Okay.
This here is that burst. I'm up in their face, right? But there is a real risk here that if anybody looks at you, Genji sneaks around, Tracer clips you, Ana hits a sleep dart, you are dead. Not only are you not able to get out, or you're forced to get out immediately, but you are dead instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Something to keep an eye on. That's like the consistent theme. Set up an angle with cover that's going to allow you long, consistent pressure. We want long, consistent pressure.
Okay.
Haha. Get rolled.
GG, team trash in the
Agreed. Team was trash. If your Mercy was any good, she would have Suzu'd you.
Exactly.
Good. As long as you don't get scouted here, you're cooking. Your team's coming forward as well, so you got plenty of time. If you run into Tracer, great. If you don't run into Tracer, great. Yes. Mechanics.exe. But you know what? Huge, right? Support passive kicks in. She's out. Cooldowns are used. I see this. So this is mechanical lack of excellence. Okay. Tracer should have died.
First off, by the way.
Tracer died. Yeah, exactly. 10 HP, right? Like, come on. Right? She should have died. I don't know what is going on with my screen right now. Let's just enjoy that frame for just a brief second. This is what Tracers see when they see your Moira. This is hideous. Okay.
Nail POV.
But not the end of the world. Here, remember, stay in the periphery. You have your orb. You have your fade. Don't panic. Get this Genji. You're good. You are in perfect position to kill this Genji. Right? Remember, on the periphery. Outside. So you are like, you get shot here and you're like, ah! You don't need to be like, ah. You need to fade out, heal orb yourself, and then duel the Genji.
Okay.
Or take the deeper route. Or come up here and find the Tracer. Or sit here and be a distraction on any support that walks forward here. Remember, as soon as you do this, you are trolling.
Okay.
Because you're either one, in between the middle of the enemy team and dead, or two, in such a weak position to mark, distract, harass, and flank that you might as well be dead.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're probably going to live here and then you die. But even if you had like faded to like, let's say, to a better cover and then heal orbed, you would have been as good as dead because you would have been right-clicking a Ramantra. Yeah.
And the Ana's like safe in the back.
Right. Exactly. The whole point of Flank Moira is that you're cashing in your survivability by harassing people. If you spend your survivability to stand behind your tank, get off the character.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, again, here, I would not be healing. I would not be healing here. This is where I think some of your old habits are kicking in here. When really, like, you see this. The only way you win this fight is if you fade up here and you kill this Ana. I don't give a rip if she has sleep dart or nade. You have to try. You have to try. You cannot. You contribute nothing to this trade. You're too useless. Ana does way more than you. More consistent healing. You do better burst healing, but you have more. He has more consistent healing. She has sleep dart. She has nade. She has damage. She's a better position. You have to cash in your survivability here. You have to find that Ana.
Right. Okay. At this point, I was I thought we were down 2, so
I don't care.
I was like, oh, die on point, you know.
Or clutch it.
Okay.
Or screw up the respawns.
Okay.
Or make the Ana panic nano because she thinks she's going to die. And maybe the fight's lost.
All right.
Right? The only thing you can do, I mean, I appreciate you dying on point. That is also good. But, you know, causing panic and causing messy trades. I guess the reason why I'm harping on it so much is just because it kind of reflects some of your earlier issues with the character, right? So I'm like, was it really a conscious decision to die in point, or is that just your panic state, just to run back to your team, right? A little early here, just a little early. I love the angle. I want you to move towards cover as soon as you can. I wouldn't mind you being half a second later.
Okay.
Just half a second later. It's really fine though. You have fade. You're about to move towards cover. What should you have done 2 seconds ago?
Damage orb.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then here, this is just awareness, right? Like you throw your damage orb, they start to push after you. Just fade out, cover, and chill, right? That's it. Every time you die on the flank as Moira, you need to ask yourself, was it a mistake on my end? What did I do wrong? Because remember, it's a stain on that flank. Long, consistent pressure. And if you're dying, you need to ask yourself, why did I die? What could I have done to put out more pressure? That damage orb was atrocious.
No, honestly, I think it's because the DPS didn't do anything that fight, and my tank trolled. No personal responsibility.
I agree. That's the best ticket for success, honestly, because you're never wrong, right? Like you have 100% success track record. So, yeah. By the way, this angle's actually okay, especially if you had damage orb here. I know we're always talking about like hard flank, but like this is a pretty good angle, right? Like you're forcing the Curie to look at you. You're looking at the Ana, maybe make the Ana look at you. You have a damage orb. You'll probably force nade if you had a damage orb here as well. And the thing is like they can't get rid of you, right? Yeah. You have a mini right there. You have good cover. You're actually just within right click range. You're just a constant ass, like a thorn in their side constantly. This is good, right? Go right back. So you're looking at your. This is the old instincts kicking in. Don't do this. Throw the damage orb. Throw the damage orb here. Be more of a nuisance. And then honestly, if they back up more, yes, I was about to say just drop. I don't want to drop on the ram. So yeah, this is great. This is great. Outside of the damage orb or the heal orb, this is great because you're like, okay, we're engaging. We got to kill. I would be quickly tucking in towards here, which you do. And remember, we talked about leech. This is exactly what you're doing right now. Now, if you had damage orb, you'd be even more of a leech. But you see how much of a nuisance you are? This is it. This is it. This is what we've been needing the last 8 minutes, right? Okay. This is it right there. That was it. Just minus the damage orb and getting a little bit faster to the cover here so that you could not worry about the ram, not worry because you do not like tanks. Like, you know how it goes. Like, you do not like tanks. Then it's perfect. It's kind of like one of those fights where like, how do we win? Right. That's what Moira does, right? Exactly. It's never like, the Moira, you might not even force a cooldown. You just force the Ana to shoot the Kiriko more than she shot her ram or the Sojourn, and then they're just kind of looking at you, and it's just like you give your team like this 15-20% passive buff in every 1v1 they take because you're just a leech. Even here, like you just throw the orb, right? You have cover, you have your fade, right? I mean, this is obviously just you got smoked, but like if we ignore the Ana here for just a second, because I actually think the Ana is kind of irrelevant. Obviously not for what actually happened, but like it's like you have your fade, you have your HP, you actually have a little bit of cover here. Why are you not orbing this? Okay. Use it. You have a squishy, use it. Okay. I'm just gonna die in cart. Okay, playmaking time. Love the setup. This is where you check your team through the wall and go, okay, time to go. Damage orb, please. I'm begging you, damage orb. You have like this is like not only do you have your fade, not only do you have cover, you also have a mini health pack, right? Yeah. I was thinking that I was gonna I was saving it for Cole combo, yeah. Yeah, but the Cole combo is only something that you need to do so you don't waste your orb. Okay. That's like saying I'm saving this $100 to buy me lunch next week as you're starving today. Right? You might have your $100 again next week too, but you use the money right now. Like use the orb right now because it's going to get value right now. And then if you want to coal. If you want to save your coal for the next orb, that's fine too. Okay. That being said, only nitpick I have here actually, besides the damage orb, is I want you to give a little more respect with your positioning here. This is disrespect. This is disrespectful to the Ana. So I think that like this is kind of a mechanics check that like as you start to rank up, you're going to start losing these more if you don't play cover better. Because if she hits that sleep dart, you're cooked. That being said, outside of the only thing I have is the damage orb. The play itself was good. Yeah, okay. And then we go from here. Okay, we can keep going. Do you have another orb? Oh my gosh, too many reviews. Do you have another orb? Yeah. That we can review?
Let's go. Let's see. Boom.
Great. Let's do this. Okay. Any questions from all that?
Not right now, but yeah, I do see where a lot of the time I could get like value sooner.
Yes. So it's partly set up for the right angles on the outside. Then once you're there, if it's a good angle, if you have a cooldown, I want you to damage orb on a squishy as soon as the Tiffany fight starts. Do not save it.
Okay.
And then I want you to try to think about holding the outside and not putting yourself in the middle, not fading back into the middle, fade on the outside, live on the angle, live on the outside, kind of like a Tracer or a Sombra, right?
Okay.
Those are the big ones, I think.
Alrighty. Unlucky.
A better Moira would have hit the orb.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is kind of what we talked about, right? We talked about like that leech mindset, right? This is a great position for it, right? They don't really have anybody contest you up here. You just can just suck and suck and suck. And the thing about Moira is it's not like you can't kill anybody either. Like if they like, let's say that Sojourn with the Mercy slides up here or slides up top and the Widow gets hit by something, you could just freaking drop on her and kill her and then fade back here and just, so you can find windows. You can find windows here. And now here, okay, so the damage orb is a total troll, right? Not because the damage orb is a total troll, but because who you damaged orbed, right?
Yeah.
Like here, it's like this is where you'd be looking for Mercy, right? Or looking for Widow. This is pretty funny, though.
Yeah. Didn't even realize.
Leech, 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 leech. Yes. Yes, leech, leech. Sojourn's looking at you. Leech, leech. Cover, 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 cover. Good. Leech, leech. That's fine. Leech, 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 leech.
Yeah, I just tried to
leech,
hold that
leech,
position.
leech, leech, leech. Yeah, see, this is it. This is good. This is good. Like, now that you're actually using your orbs properly, right, and you're playing cover well, this is good. Your positioning is great. I even like the ping ponging back and forth to make yourself a little unpredictable. That echo's going for you, 100%. Leech.
Yeah, I was kind of listening for it.
Yeah. Leech, 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 leech. Now, this is actually a perfect representation of what we talked about because you fade over to an angle. So somebody who's probably watching this review in the year of, in the future, right? Hello, future. Would have, why don't you damage orb here? Well, why don't you damage orb here?
Because of the possibility that they could like push me.
Exactly.
Echo at least, yeah.
Right. You don't have fade. And also you're not guaranteed of cover either because of the echo, right? So because you don't have, if you had fade here, you should damage orb this. You don't, so you save it. And this is why. Now you could make a pretty good argument that if this echo is maybe a little bit better, maybe you should have died here. They hit a nice sticky. She hit a really nice sleep dart. Like you got a little bit outplayed here. But it's actually crazy that you're gonna live this year. You are gonna live this year. There you go. Probably would have healed myself a little faster.
Okay, yeah.
Just heal myself a little bit faster, save my fade, and then if they go for me, honestly, maybe even just drop or just fade. Like you're kind of like once they go echo, you're kind of playing with fire, right? So it's like how long can I live before I die? Because I think it's only a matter of time. But yeah. So overall, that was accidentally, I assume, but that was an improvement over New Queen Street overall.
This was like so this happened like sequentially. So that one happened first, and
so you warmed up, surely. Yeah. Good. I like the setup here. Obviously, high risk, high reward, but I appreciate the setup. Yeah,
we don't cap the point. I mean, we don't contest here because I didn't want to use my fade, but
that's not your fault. It's fine. This is whatever. I get it. So I actually roll out. I think I would roll out right here. So let me explain why. So here, what you're going to do is you're going to scout. And you're going to listen. And if you hear high, then you're not going to go high. What you're going to do is you're going to go through here, and you're going to consider wrapping through here. And you're going to just be, this is your leech zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you hear nobody on high, then you're going to actually leech zone from top. Basically what you just did.
Okay, yeah. I think for this fight right now, I was just probably thinking that, the fight's already starting without me. So I just like made it to my team as fast as possible.
I understand that. But you also have to ask yourself, how much value do you get when you are here?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And he's dead anyway.
Congratulations, right? Like you've done nothing. There is no survivability value here. So then if speed is important, then honestly, even just going to high ground would have been probably 2 seconds slower, but 10 times more valuable.
Okay.
A little bit facetious, but definitely much, much, much more valuable.
Yeah.
The good news is that you might catch the echo here. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Again, you used your fate aggressively, you used your orb aggressively. Wow, that's really bad, right? But you ended in such a safe position, you're probably fine. Fine. But yeah. Leech. Cover. Leech. This is risky. Leech. Kind of see what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is like, you're like, I died, I fed. Kind of. I'm okay with that. Look at how much time you wasted. Like, this is actually insane. They go, you start here, and you literally wasted 30 seconds here. In fact, I think if you'd actually faded through the Ana and back this way, you might have been able to get out and rotated this way. I think rotating deeper into their spawn was, there's obviously like you hit a wall. Like you couldn't go any deeper. Because of the respawns.
Yeah, exactly. And if I did get kills, like they would just respawn like soon.
Exactly. But honestly though, like I'm gonna give the play an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
It's a good play. You lived a long time and you did exactly what we talked about. You used your cooldowns wisely, you used cover really well, and you just lived forever. And that's what you do. Even here, so like here's what you look at here. Okay, you're not gonna win this. You know it. So what are you doing?
What am I doing, or what should I do?
What are you? Well, maybe they're the same answer.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I'm kind of taking this fight because it's 2v1, you know? So, like, mathematically, it's even on point, 3v3. But right now, I mean, I could probably... I mean, since there was somebody up top, like, I should have, like, gone here on top.
Sure.
Maybe I'm just overthinking it right now. But
I think you're overthinking it a little bit. You went to go help your soldier on the angle. Remember we talked about that earlier, the +1, if you get the opportunity. You didn't quite get it. He ran away from a healer. Unfortunate. So here it's like, I would prefer, I would not prefer, but I wish that you could reach the Mercy here. I don't think you can. That way you can actually take a 2v1 and actually have an actual kill threat. But really this is like one of the things where it's like, they nano the Ram. You're probably not going to win this fight, but there's really nothing else that you can do here besides try to live this Echo Mercy. It's a good resource trade on paper. I don't know if you're going to win, but it's a good resource trade on paper.
Yeah,
hey, look at that.
I would have gone for the Mercy if if
you could have. Yeah. And so actually here, this is where you make your mistake.
Okay.
Because it's funny because I don't know if the Echo realizes that this is a waste of her time, or she just doesn't, she can't hit any shots. That's also a possibility. Maybe your movement's just that elite. But as soon as you see this here, oh my days, you are so happy. You did the right thing. You did the right thing. You tried to help your soldier on an angle. The soldier died. You dueled a 2v1, knowing you could live it because worst case scenario, I've just fade away to the Mega. They left it, and now Heaven's Gates have opened. Because look at this Mercy. Look at this Ana, look at the Sojourn, look at the angle that you have here onto the squishies, and you dropped into a nano annihilation to heal a Roadhog.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any worse.
In the rush.
Yes, in the rush, exactly. It doesn't get any worse than this. Because this fight is unironically, now that Echo is dropped, you can actually win this fight. You really can. You really, really can win this fight. And now you're going to die. Or somebody's going to die, I think. Yeah, so you're going to die. Oh, no, you're not going to die. You're playing patty cake with a Ramatra. I mean, they're almost... outside of Roadhog, I don't think there's a worse target.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, sometimes I think I also panic when as soon as I see crit.
Yeah, and that might be part of your old habits kicking in. You know, it's like it's not that's a. Well, no, it is a bad thing. It is a bad thing. Like even with your old like support Moira playstyle, right? Like it still wouldn't make sense to drop into a Roadhog Ram Fate, right? It still wouldn't make sense. So this is actually just timing.
Okay.
The play itself is totally fine. It's just timing. Because as you're pushing forward, like everyone's getting giddy, you might not be aware of this, but look at where your hog is holding.
Okay.
You see this?
Yeah.
So here, this is where you either needed to be sneaky or you needed to give up space at this echo to statue or this angle here. And then push deeper later.
Okay.
Because you're going to die to if you're going to die here, you're going to die to Ramatra, not to echo. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. So, you know, a good angle, bad time. That's it.
All right.
That one is trickier because I felt like the fight never really stalled, so you never really had a chance to check your team's positioning, but you need to if you can. You need to if you can. Yes, roll out top. Yes. Only way this fight is clutch. The only way this fight is clutchable is if you get access direct angle to backline, and not only that, if you assist these guys, right? Okay. This does your team. You do not need to touch cart now. You have 10 seconds. Use those 10 seconds. Now, this is very lucky, but this is what happens. You get a ram in your face. Obviously, target priority here is good, but you're going to die. You hold the off angle in high ground, totally different story. Because the irony is that you're like, oh, I actually ran to the Ana, perfect, right? But the funny thing is you would have run to the Ana from here just as well. This Ana makes any move at all, there she is, bam. There she is, bam. You could have dropped on the Mercy, there she is, bam, right? So many opportunities besides the one that you went for.
That's true. Well, so I was thinking that they, like, the two of them already had them, Arcuri and Sojourn.
Right, so you're thinking it's redundant, right? Yeah. The problem with that logic is that position isn't something you even have to stay. It just gives you, it's a gateway to wherever you want.
Okay.
So when you take this high ground here, it's like, oh, well, it's redundant for me to be up here. Yes and no, because you could drop here, you could drop here, you could drop here, you could drop here. Oh, wow, this would be juicy, right? In that last fight, right? Whereas if you're here, not only are you likely to run to the tank, but it also you have no choice.
Okay.
So I think a lot of things with you would benefit a lot from even here, right? Like this is kind of like you're going here, but really you really probably should just go high ground, right? It's not being contested right now because again, that's going to give you a choice. This is not that this angle is bad. We've already seen that this angle has worked well, but it's that this is the only thing that you can do. Whereas if you roll high, because you have that cover from high ground, you have choices here. You could assist your soldier or contest the Echo Mercy or maybe drop. Again, this is not bad. I'm just questioning if it's optimal. Okay, you're killing me with this one. Find the squishy. Find the Ana. Find her. There's no excuse for this. You know what I'm saying? Like this is so direct, and now you're probably dead. Yeah.
I just saw the crit again, and you know.
Yeah. And that's very astute of you to observe that because that's probably something that would be underrated in terms of importance. Because it's like you recognizing your own flaws, right? So you're like, yeah, I need to break that habit. I think that's probably a very important habit to keep an eye on. But yeah, okay, ignoring this, what should you have done?
I could probably gone deeper.
Yep.
Go right side.
Yep.
Since the Ana's right there, she's like not in cover.
Yep. You have Fade. You have your mini health back. You immediately damage orb, right click. If you see something that you like, you coal it. Honestly, you could have coaled it immediately if you wanted to, or you could have saved your coal like you did earlier as like a defensive cooldown almost, right? Where it's like you go for the damage orb with the right click, they panic, they freak. Either you kill her or then you defensively fade and then you coal when you need to, basically. Or you could just immediately open with coal for more DPS. It's up to you. But yeah, okay. So we talked about a lot of stuff. Let's take some notes. Fun review. Fun for me anyway.
Nice.
What do you need to practice?
Positioning.
Okay, well that's vague, right? What about your positioning?
Let's see. How do I condense it?
Well, not even condense it necessarily, but be more direct. What about your positioning needs work? Because it wasn't everything.
I mean, also like recognizing when I'm in a good position. So I could like.
What is a good position? What are you looking for? Pre-fight, what are you looking for? Let's really go back. the bare bones here, right?
I'm kind of like blanking out right now. But
remember the word setup.
Okay, setup, yeah.
Setup. Look for angles that complement your range, cover, with access to squishies. DPS or supports can be deep angles or soft angles, doesn't matter. Because you can duel a Tracer, you can duel an Ana, it just doesn't really matter. I mean, there's obviously like going to be certain characters that you're better versus, but yeah. Okay, then what? What about your CD usage? Because this is when your CD, or your timing, right? Your matters, right? So timing with your team, right? A tiny bit late is okay. Then let's talk about CDs. Now what?
More damage orb.
Yeah. More damage orb when your positioning has cover, safety, or if you have fade.
Okay.
Think leech. Longer you hold the angle with cover, the better.
Okay.
The more your harassment lasts without dying, the more your team wins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In terms of, I think that's mostly it, really. I think for you, it comes down to like the other micro thing, which was keep an eye on the crit teammates' habit of running back to your team.
Yeah, I think also right now, when I'm low, I default to fading to my team.
Yeah. When in trouble, be cautious about fading to your team. Avoid the middle of the fight. Generally better to hold angles. Yeah, your whole mindset is like, I'm going to take an angle on the periphery, on the outside, and pressure, and harass, and waste time, and pressure. I mean, I really think that in many ways that outside of the tiny little mistake there at the end, your Dorado first point hold was really good. And then even your last, it wasn't your last fight, but it was like one of your last fights on a New Queen Street was also really good too, right? So the results will speak for themselves. It's sometimes like one of those things where it's hard to see your tangible value sometimes because it is so slow, but it's really important. It's really important. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, right now I think I'm good, but I think I can just like type in the chat if I have any more.
Of course, you can message me anytime.